are back, Boss Fam. This is our season finale. We are at the end of season 1. This is episode 10, and we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to start working on some amazing things. So we're going to do something really, really big, so I want you guys to stay tuned. Keep an eye on my Instagram page, because we got something coming up that you do not want to miss. So today, for our season finale, we have a very, very special guest in the house. We have Restauranteur, franchise owner, founder of Catfish Station, founder of the Station Seafood Company, former NFL player, husband, dad, and a plethora more. Trey Thomas in the house, everybody.
All right. Wow.
You all of that.
I got to add all that.
Welcome to Real Talk Houston with Carlotta B, and we're honored to have you on the red sofa.
Thank you for allowing me to be here.
Of
And
course.
might I say, since we are kind of family, I don't know how
Yes.
much your audience knows, but
Yes.
congratulations on your show.
Thank you.
10 episodes is nothing to,
Shake a
laugh
stick
at.
at.
Yeah, absolutely. So congratulations on your venture, and I wish you continued success at
Thank
what
you
you're
so
doing.
much. It's been a
Absolutely.
journey, I must say. Challenges, but it's been very rewarding as well.
Well,
So first and foremost, Boss Fam, I want to say it is the season finale, number 1. It is Juneteenth weekend coming up, number 2. Yeah, I know, right? Only 30% of Americans do not know. Let's say 30% do not know about Juneteenth. So they don't know that the Emancipation Proclamation was signed by Abe Lincoln. They came to Galveston to let the slaves know, hey, you guys are free. And they didn't even know they were free. And I think they were free 2 years before that, I heard that. But they didn't want the slaves to know, right? So someone physically went to Galveston and said, hey, you guys are free, right? So, and the third thing is, it's Father's Day this weekend.
Hey.
So finale, Juneteenth, Father's Day! And we also have a studio audience in the house too, so they're going to be asking a question later on. So welcome, studio audience.
We're here, we're in the house.
Yeah, they are in the house, seriously. So I don't know, all of my shows, I always start out with, who are you? So we got Trey Thomas. Tell us about young Trey. Where did you go to school and what city are you from?
oh, I am from Houston, Texas.
Okay.
If you want to pinpoint it, I grew up in Missouri City,
Okay.
Texas. When I was in 6th grade, I moved to Sugar Land,
Okay.
and that's where I kind of chopped it up. And in high school, I went to Kempner High School.
Okay, Kempner.
Kempner High School. Just, running the streets in Missouri City was a big part of my life, though. Like, staying outside. This heat just reminded me of my childhood a lot.
I'm sure.
Yeah, so I spent a lot of time outside. Couldn't go
Yeah.
in the house.
In the sweltering heat. Were you
That's
one
right.
of those kids that stayed out until the porch lights came on, the night lights
Yes.
came on, and then you knew it was time to go home at that point, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was definitely one of those kids. I used to drink out of all the neighbors' little, that's when you could drink out the side
The
of the
hoses
house.
and the
Outside
water,
the house.
the
Taste that
hydrants
rusty
and stuff,
water and
right?
stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
That was me.
Those were the good old days, though.
They were.
I remember when I was growing up, I used to race everybody up and down my street because I thought, I was fast. I was fast. But I think that's how I got fast because
Yeah.
I'm very challenging. I like a challenge, and I used to race everybody. So I was beating all the girls in my neighborhood. Then I was like, okay, guys, it's your turn. Come on up. So, and I beat them too. So that's when I really knew I had some speed. But anyway, I missed those days of being at home and playing in the neighborhood. It was safe to go knock on somebody's door and get some water if you were, hot or needed some Kool-Aid or needed something.
Yeah,
It was safe.
for sure.
You
for
can't
sure.
do that today, right?
I try to recreate it. So, we just moved to a cul-de-sac. So I went, introduced myself to all my neighbors. And
Okay.
we're talking about trying to do block parties and all that stuff now that the COVID
Yes.
stuff is letting up
Yep.
because I just want to feel like that sense of community. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Know everybody who's around
You
me.
know who's around you. Know
Absolutely.
your neighbors by first name, not just passing
Yeah,
down the
like
street
really
and just
know 'em.
waving,
Yeah.
right? And they barely wave back. Yeah. So what was your most memorable childhood moment? Was it that? Just being in the neighborhood and being safe, happy, and free?
Man, I couldn't put it on one moment, but the gist of my childhood is happiness, man. I didn't really have a care in the world.
Yes.
I'm on high vibrations in the mornings, even still today. Like when I wake up in the morning, that's like my best time to just do everything. And so I just remember waking up every morning happy. My sister used to be mad at me because I was so happy.
Why are you so happy?
Right. My mom used to tell me, like, I have an old 6-year-old, my sister's 6 years older than me. And so we came up scrapping a lot. She used to be like, why are you so happy? That's what my mom used to always tell me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Life.
Well,
Life. Positive vibes, right?
Sticking with me, yeah. And I try. Once you get older, you got to work on that, though. You got to work on staying at that level.
Certainly right.
And
You're certainly right.
You shun a lot of things, a lot of energy to keep yourself in that realm.
That's a
absolutely.
challenge. That's a challenge.
Absolutely.
You know what works is surrounding yourself by positive quotes, scriptures every day. Just you got to feed your own soul in order to be happy.
Absolutely.
And if you're not happy, people around you are not going to be happy either. So people breathe in what you put out.
Yes.
So we got to make sure that we're good, we're happy, we're sending out positive vibes, we're doing what we got to do to be happy, so that people around us can feel that same vibe.
Yeah, you got to put in the work. And might I add some therapy too? You got to do all that.
If that's necessary,
Yes,
you got to have a
indeed.
therapy. Yeah.
I
Gotta
recommend
have
it for
therapy
everybody.
if it's necessary. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your family dynamic at home when you were growing up was, I know you said you had an older sister.
Just one older sister. I'm the youngest of two.
Okay.
My mom was a school teacher, and then she ended up going to law school. She went to law school when I was in like the 5th grade. My dad, he was actually the first African-American employee for Cisco Foods.
Oh, that's a historical moment, right?
Yeah. And that's kind of how I got my chops with cooking, because back then, the term latchkey kids. So my dad working for Cisco, we had a freezer full of like bulk meats and stuff like that. So I came up thawing out and cooking. That's just what it was. You
Latchkey kid at home throwing down.
You have to plan in. You have to put whatever you want in the morning. It has to be in the sink while you go.
Yeah, so it can thaw out.
By the nighttime, you can eat it. Yeah,
so
that
it
was
can
us.
thaw out. So you're a proud father, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So your family dynamic now is?
I have a 12-year-old son. He just turned 12 June 15th. And that's my firstborn. That's my pride and joy. Lincoln Thomas. And I have a 3-year-old daughter named Halo.
Yeah, she's something else.
Yeah, having a boy first, I'm so glad I did, because I got to be tough.
Exactly.
And you know what I figured out? Although I do kind of ease up on my daughter, I'm kind of the same way with her, just because she's so tough. Like I can see where she going, and I'm like, I can't be sweet like that.
Yeah.
Like she need to see that, but she give her mom hell, so.
It's
that's
hard.
That's what it is.
Normally on the norm, it's hard for dads to be the the disciplinarian of the daughter. So who's the disciplinarian in the household? You or the mom? You are?
Absolutely. But I do it to make my job easier later. I just, I act.
You being proactive.
That's right. So I showed them the crazy, and then they respect it, and now I don't have to work so hard.
Yeah, sometimes you have to show the crazy in order to get somebody's attention and let them know you're serious, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Still.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Your perspective on fatherhood and what good traits do you think are necessary for being a dad besides being the disciplinarian? What makes a good dad? What traits?
Just being present, being attentive.
For starters, that's an important one.
I really dig deep. Like I try to get into the psychology of what my kids are doing. Like, why did you do that? What made you think about that?
What's the logic behind what you did?
And not so much from like a scolding standpoint. It's like I want to understand how you think, so I can control what situations I think you're ready for now, because I can understand your critical thinking.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And the struggle is remembering they are kids. Because I want them to get it, and I'm like, maybe you're not ready yet.
Right. You
and
got to put
I
your
gotta
thought
dial it
process
back,
on
because
a
I'm so
different level.
But it's a joy when you really involved on that level, because man, that's all I want to do. I don't want to be out nowhere when I'm not working. I really enjoy being at home.
Yeah.
And just hanging out with them.
Being a dad,
that's
just
a
being
genuine
a family
joy
man.
at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, that's important these days. There's nothing really out in the streets anyway, right?
Nah, not no more. I'm done.
Yeah.
My
It's
jersey
good to be
and
out
the
there when you're
Raptors.
hustling and making that money.
Yes,
But
yes, yeah.
beyond that, being at home, that's a good, safe place.
Absolutely.
So you had let's talk about your UT career, and then you went on to play NFL. Tell us a little bit about your college and your NFL career.
Coming out of high school, like I said, growing up, we were just always outside playing sports, and I wasn't one of those kids that was playing sports with the goal of saying this. I want to make it to the NFL. I want to. I wasn't even thinking about college like that. So my junior year, these letters started showing up, and it got pretty serious. My mom wasn't even into football, and so she started because at the time my parents got divorced and they got remarried.
Okay. Oh,
and,
cool.
I like to say I was the reason because they had to come to my games and see each other and all
Right.
that stuff.
So you were the common denominator that reunited them, right?
But my dad, he was gonna get her back anyway probably, but the games probably helped out.
But
a little
you like
bit.
to take credit. That's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine. Yeah,
but,
that's good.
Yeah, so I ended up getting a scholarship to UT, and that's really where I grew up and met some really great friends. Met your husband.
Yeah.
Too. Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
Right.
So,
that's right. Go back a long way.
And the magic is we're still good friends. Like my core group of college buddies they're like family. I don't have a biological brother, but I got about 5 or 6 brothers for
That's
real.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. They don't have to be blood, as long as they're psychological and spiritual brothers. Sometimes that's better.
I guess so. I can
sometimes
understand
it
that. The NFL. So once I did get into college and realized I had the talent level to make it to the NFL, that became a big goal of mine. I kind of have mixed feelings about it though, because I dedicated so much of my life trying to fit and make it in that world. And now that I'm out of it, especially now with the concussion stuff going on, I just feel like, was it worth it? And so could I have been farther along in my career now if I wouldn't have been dedicating so much of my life to that? And then there was the depression after, you get cut and you're not there anymore. You go through this mental.
You got to deal with that.
And you got to redefine yourself, because I was one of those people that allowed the sport to define me.
Exactly.
Right. Instead of me participating in this industry, I was like, this is how I identify.
Yeah,
in
you kind of felt
facets.
like the sport validated who you were at one point.
Yeah,
at one point.
And that's not good.
Right.
In anything, because it's just not good. So I went through that whole cycle.
Yeah.
And coming out of it, I mean, it's something I look back on, but I don't even push. My son, he played, but he wasn't really into it. So he's a basketball player. He likes basketball.
Yeah, he got some height on him.
Oh yeah.
So that's good.
I don't push anybody towards football. It's a good sport. I get, it's cool.
Yeah,
but
you gotta feel it. You gotta feel it, right?
You're not supposed to bang your head. You're just not.
I know. Wow. Yeah. If there's one thing you could change about anything that has happened to date, if you could go back and change anything, one thing,
I wouldn't.
Say something different. Do something different.
I'm gonna count it all joy. Like everything. Like now that I'm getting more seasoned. Like it's those ups and downs, the valleys, the peaks.
It's the experience that make us.
I wouldn't risk not
right?
being who I am now.
Yeah.
To change, and that's why I wouldn't change anything there, because I'm really fine tuning and learning to be in my own skin and like feel comfortable, very comfortable there, and then grounded myself spiritually, and it's just a beautiful time right now as an adult. So I wouldn't change anything.
Yeah, that's great. That's great, because that actually molds who we are. Do you have any advice out there for young men specifically and women that's growing up today? Because things are different now. Times have changed, philosophies are different, people are different, the world is different. What advice would you give?
I have a wife who's 10 years younger than me. And so I've seen some of the difference, and I understand the importance of cell phones and being plugged in and tuned, but there's it's a lot of triggers and things that you see, and you just constantly tapped into that digital world.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of not being in the digital world, so my advice would be make time for yourself and find out who you are with no devices, with nothing, just you God and the air you breathe in, and develop a relationship in that space with yourself so you can comfortably navigate these other spaces, because it's treacherous, man. Sometimes I find out I'm looking at my phone, I'm like, I've been on Instagram for 45 minutes. Like, this is nonsense.
I know, right? Me too. I found myself being on it at 3 a.m. one morning. I was like, wait, what? What happened?
Right, but it becomes habitual.
Yeah. But for me, it was work, though. It's work for me. I don't know about you, but
I start watching videos, crazy stuff.
No, everybody that know me know that I do not like social media. Never liked social media until I started doing the show, and I realized I had to get on social media. I had to learn how to navigate, had to learn how to work it. So that's why I was up to 3 a.m. trying to figure out how to do all of that stuff successfully.
Hey, it's necessary these days. You got to.
Yeah, because a lot of businesses operate through social media.
Yeah, because you could be whoever you are on social media. Like I'm looking for someone to kind of partner and take over that space, because I'm not good at it. I mean, I just don't
totally understand.
Like getting all the footage, editing, doing all that, and then making it like I'm over freestyling.
I hear you. I totally get it. So let's talk about the radio business, which is why we're here today, to focus on that. When did you get into the restaurant business?
Yeah.
What started it? What did you do first? When you had that twinkle in your eye?
It wasn't a twinkle in my eye. It was a necessity. So I was in corporate America after the football stuff. I worked in educational sales.
Okay.
And coming from a sports background, especially at UT, and like I said, my relationship with the guys I played with, that's truly a brotherhood. And so I took that same mentality into corporate America.
Right.
And it's not that. It's the total opposite.
It is.
Right. It's cutthroat. And so I didn't fit in well in those spaces. And if anybody knows me, like I don't. It's the ebb and flow. I wouldn't say I don't take orders well. I just don't like being told what to do.
Exactly.
I can take some orders, but I'm gonna do it when. Just tell me when you want it done, and don't.
Right. Just give me a deadline of what I need to do, and then I'll go do it.
And just watch me work.
Yeah.
Right?
Don't micromanage me.
Absolutely.
Right?
So I was in that world, and I just knew it wasn't gonna be a long-term solution. But my mother, seeing her start her own practice, and she's been practicing law for probably 40 years now.
Okay.
And so watching her be her own boss and some of the freedoms that she had, that became my motivation to find something. And I just always had a passion for cooking and entertaining. Yeah, starting with the Cisco days, like I said, cooking and.
Yeah, that's good. Well, let's talk about Catfish Station. I know you're the founder of Catfish Station, which at once it was a chain. You had over 14 locations. 14 locations, yes.
So
let's talk about Catfish Station and how that came about.
Well, Catfish Station used to be a happening night spot in Austin, and so that's how the name originated. The business aspect here in Houston was, like I said, my father had a friend who had a food truck for sale. This is in 2004.
Okay.
And I met the guy, and then my dad and my family just gave me some money and helped me get into the game, and I just kind of never looked back. I mean, it's a lot more to fill in the blanks, but the short of it is just started on the corner hustling, giving out free samples to people, and then it just kind of kept snowballing.
Right.
But it kind of fizzled out, but the turning point was when my son was born. So I was hustling and doing side jobs in the food truck, and then actually doing some other side work. But when my son was born, I realized I had to, let me figure something out for real.
Yeah.
And I reached out on a UT network to say, hey, I need a job. Who's hiring? And if Johnny Palmer is listening, Johnny Palmer, he writes children's books now. He reached out to me. He was with KBR.
Okay.
And he created an opportunity for me to go overseas to Iraq.
Yep. KBR is an excellent company.
Yeah, and I worked over there for 2 years overseas in the war zones. Came back with enough money in addition to what my family was able to give me, and we opened our first brick and mortar location in 2011.
Yeah, that's the one off of 1960?
Off of 1960, And so the first year, it just took off.
Yeah.
It really took off. We grossed, it was a lot.
Yeah.
But it was a lot to learn too. So that started the journey.
Okay, so that started your journey into the Catfish Station world, which has been so successful today.
Yes.
So what happened that you had to transition out of owning all of those Catfish Station stores and launching the station?
Well, after the success of the drive-through, I was able to secure an SBA loan and open the Huffmeister store, the flagship store that I still have now.
That's the flagship store, yeah. Huffmeister in 1960, okay.
Yes, and then through some private investment partners, I opened another store in Spring off of Louetta and Kirkendall. And at that point, there were 3 restaurants. 2 of them I was solely responsible for.
Okay.
And I got approached by a gentleman who said, you know, I can take this brand and we can go really quick, we can grow fast. And, you know, I ate, drunk all the Kool-Aid.
Right.
And blew up really fast. We opened, in 2 years, we opened 11 more stores. And doing that so fast created its share of problems.
Exactly.
And the food quality was going down.
Right.
We started getting into some legal issues because I didn't like the direction the company was going.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we got into some litigation. And during that time, right when we were in the middle of litigation, COVID hits.
Yeah.
And so now we're talking about all these things going on coming to a screeching halt. And I'm in a legal battle.
Exactly.
I'm going to court
with
my old business partner. Yeah. So
right.
through all that, that was a really low point for me. Because I didn't know, I just thought it was going to be over. I started applying for different jobs and doing stuff.
Right.
And I was like, hey, you know, God, if this is what it's going to be, this is what it's going to be. And another good friend of mine came up with this logo and this name. He said, man, just go with the Station Seafood Company.
Yeah, rebrand yourself.
And that was the spark I needed to start rethinking and rebranding. So all during COVID, I think we were closed for a week during COVID before we could reopen. I mean, I just started tearing stuff off the walls. You know, we had the orange colors and all stuff, changed the color scheme. This is me just painting and scratching and thinking. And really just grassroots started over with the Station Seafood Company. And that's how it was launched. Yeah.
Wow. You have a grand opening coming up, right? You're opening a new store.
Yeah. So kind of closing of the old chapter from the rebranding Catfish Station to the station. I've been really blessed, and there's just an overwhelming spirit of gratitude that I have.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just looking at things totally different now from when I first got into the business. You know, you got ego, you got all these other things, and I was like, okay, coming out of that and being where I am now, like, what a blessing. I can't even tell you. So now I have a store that is on Highway 6, and it was a dry cleaners. So a complete, total renovation.
Yeah, whole big build out.
It's really put me on the center stage. I'm right next to ChickfilA, Whataburger, and Mod Pizza, and so I'm right next to those guys.
Perfect.
So I'm in a food hub, and those brands aren't pushover brands.
Nope,
so
they're not. Those are major
that competitive
brands.
spirit is in me too. So I'm like, okay, I get to be here with these guys, but I don't really see it as competition though, because if people are coming here to eat, I'm such a unique offering. I want the traffic, and then to come to try me, because you know the food to me is the easy part. And,
right.
You know,
well, Mod is pizza, Chick-fil-A is chicken. You're fish and
seafood,
a plethora of other,
Absolutely.
So you cover the whole gamut, and your food is amazing.
Yeah,
it's to die for. So
and those brands do it right. You know, I look at the guys that are successful, like Chick-fil-A. Their customer service model is awesome. Whataburger is a machine that runs things right.
So
I'm a student of the game. So I actually met the manager who's been at Whataburger for 12 years today.
And, wow.
And I didn't know. We were just talking, and he mentioned the store on Highway 6, and then he said it's going to be next to me. And I was like, well, okay, who are you? And then he told me, but he's been a fan. He's been watching me, and it kind of just validates, you know, what I've been doing over the years. And
right.
Just having to learn it.
Yeah.
So now I'm ready to just get on that stage and take all the experiences from the franchising the first time and get back out there. Yeah.
So are you wanting to franchise the station, right?
Absolutely.
What are some of the myths of franchising? Because, everybody here, you only got to put down, add a certain amount to it, and the franchise owner pay for everything else. Some companies want $100,000 up front and a small amount of rent. They want, what are the myths and what is actually true about owning a franchise or buying a franchise?
I think if I could say a myth, I think one of the misconceptions is, I can't guarantee your success. So a lot of people might see me successful in the restaurant business, and
they automatically think
you
they're
may
gonna do
come
the
and
same.
say, you know what, I want to buy a franchise. And my first question will be, have you worked in a restaurant? Like, do you know what this is? Because you can get in this game and quickly find out
it's not what you thought. Right.
Because it's a special kind. It's a special kind of person. And that was really the lesson I learned from the first time. We were just putting anybody in these stores. They weren't good operators.
Right.
But they saw the success and said, "Ooh, I can do it too." And even I was like, "Yeah, you could do it too." But no, you can't.
Right. It's not for everybody.
It's not for everybody.
It's not. I had a restaurant before, and I think I loved every minute of it. I love the concept of having something that's your own. You control everything there. You control how it goes. One of my audience members came to my grand opening here when I had the restaurant. But yeah, it was the greatest thing for me. I loved it. It's something that's yours, and you can mold it and make it yours.
So,
and I'm an extrovert, so that helps a lot too. So I like dealing with people. I like talking to people. I like making sure everybody's happy. I like hosting. I like entertaining. So all those things I think are traits for someone to own a restaurant, right?
Exactly. And if you have those traits, what I feel like I'm much better at on my end is I'm more scalable, right? So we have a line of unique items, but I learned to scale it and control the quality where you're going to get the same product at any location you go to.
Exactly.
Because through that experience, I learned how to take control of what actually goes out.
Exactly.
And
that's
what
important.
it takes to be a successful franchise. It's the same.
That's important. That everything is the same.
Yeah, like not to knock McDonald's, right? So a lot of people love McDonald's. It's a great brand, but what I don't think it's the best burger. But
Correct.
I do know that McDonald's is going to be McDonald's, whether I'm in Utah.
No matter where you are, you're going to get the same taste.
In that's the comfort. Like I know if I'm a slummin' and go to McDonald's.
Right.
McDonald's going to give me the same.
It's going to be the same way here that it does in El Paso, right?
And so what was happening was some people go to a Catfish Station in Katy and then, say, well, this one don't taste like the one. And that's the worst thing that you can have.
Yeah.
And then the one-star reviews start popping up.
Right.
And the customer service
issues. That's what was happening,
Yes, absolutely.
Those owners were kind of probably doing their own thing and deviating from the
the
process. What is the distribution portion of your business? You're in distribution as well.
Yes. So through this whole process, like I said, it was a bad experience, but it was so many positives. That's why I said I wouldn't change anything. Yeah. So I actually became a licensed Texas food manufacturer. And what that means is that all of my proprietary recipes, I can actually produce them in my kitchen and distribute them anywhere in the United States. And so I have a partnership with, thank you.
Yeah, that's great, right? Okay.
I partner with Cisco Foods and Janko Foods, which is a local distributor. Cisco is national.
Yeah, exactly.
And they actually house my products so that when I get back into the franchising game, you'll have an order guide and you can order the station products that you need from them. But the unique thing is I'm making all of it and selling it to Cisco so that you can buy it. And now we kind of eliminate that, this tastes different. This one's bad.
Exactly.
So that was one of the things I had to get under control. So we have a line of homemade sauces that we feature, a cocktail tart and remoulade. I have batter that my batter that I use on my fish, which is pretty unique.
Right.
And a red bean and rice and a dirty rice.
Oh,
so they can all be distributed throughout the U.S.
I'm starving right now, and him talking about all of that is making my stomach say,
I know you
"Oh my
earlier
God,
we were talking, man.
let's
I'm so sorry I didn't bring the food. I thought about it, but it was just the traffic. I didn't want to risk being late.
That would have been perfect because we just had a whole layout of the station seafood here because I think everybody in the studio is starving right now. I know, right? That deserves some applause. So actually, we're going to take, we're getting close to the end of our segment here, our episode. So we're going to take one question from someone in the audience. Who has a question?
I do.
Okay.
Okay. So I heard you say that your dad was in industry.
Yes,
when you were
yes,
younger.
ma'am.
So would you say your dad, or who would you say influenced your cuisine?
Definitely my father.
Okay.
Just as far as, like, I grew up in a house where my dad did the cooking. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was in the kitchen. So I grew up seeing that, and it was just natural for me to be in the kitchen. The roles were it wasn't the traditional roles in my house. My mom wasn't really in the kitchen like that. But my dad, he was. I would say the only difference now, though, and he's old school. He used a lot of grease, a lot of
like lard. That
like,
kind of
I
grease?
mean, you know.
Y'all remember lard? That's in the big
You got to
pan.
take some statins after you eat a meal, you know.
Yeah.
And even now, it's very hard to get him. Like when I go visit and I want to take over in the kitchen, like you got to back up. But then I'm like, ooh.
Right, all
I
of them.
can't eat that. I can't eat that.
Artery clogging. I know, but it's good.
It's still good.
I know.
It's still good. He still loves to cook, so God bless him. You know,
Yeah.
like I just let him do his work, and then I might come behind it with a paper towel and like pat it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Pat it down and get some of the extra grease out, right?
Absolutely, because I got to be here for a while.
Oh my gosh, I know.
Yes.
Thank you. That was a good question. If anyone is in the audience, they're watching and they're interested in starting a franchise and they might want to reach out to you to get a station, the station location,
Yes.
how can they contact you?
This is really a great moment and a time to get in contact. I have a website, it's ilovethestation.com. There's a franchising tab on the site, and we're going to ask you some preliminary questions. And from there, we can go to a discovery day and really do a deep dive where I can kind of slow walk them through the process.
Exactly.
But the beautiful part is, you know, I've learned everything from the first go round, and I'm ready to relaunch this. And so the time is ripe to make some great deals and come in on a ground level and kind of help build the franchising model, be a part of that. And one thing I do want to hit on too, the reason the station that I chose the station or took on to the station so well is because you know how you have Papa Do's and then you have Papacitos and you have Papa's Barbecue, and you kind of trust the Papa's brand.
Papa Steakhouse.
So we have other brands that are branded under the station. So there's the Station Wing Company, which actually exists virtually. There's the Station Salad Company, which is a concept that hasn't launched yet, but it's already fully developed. And also the Station Breakfast Company. So
nice.
I kind of want to build trust in the station and then branch out into all these other areas under the station brand to kind of build a family of concepts.
Family of,
And I'm actively seeking people who are interested in operating restaurants, but also partnering with me on the franchising side as well. Because what I realized during that first go round too is I really can't do this by myself.
Right, of course.
And I have some people that are a permanent part of the team, but I'm looking for people to kind of take up some spaces where I know I'm falling short.
Right,
you know, social media and that type of digital marketing is one area.
You have to have a well-oiled machine
because I know my
successful.
strengths.
Exactly.
But that's not one of them.
Exactly.
But like I said, it's just an opportunity for somebody to come in and really be a part of the team on this side of it.
Right.
And absolutely, I can work with someone who wants to operate a restaurant, but somebody who's willing to come in and bring something to the table, we're actively ready to have a sit down and talk about, you know, whether it be an equity play or whatever. Like, I want to rebuild this company the right way.
Yes, of course.
So that's kind of where I am now, but I'm super excited about opening this new flagship store.
That
it all starts with that.
So exciting, so exciting.
Thank you. I'm nervous, but I'm ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be a huge success. Huge success.
I am thinking no less.
That's right. So again, this is our season finale. We are at the end of our episode.
Congratulations again.
Thank you. And I want to thank everyone that came through the show during season 1. Without them, it wouldn't have been a season, right? So yes, thank you to all of my guests for making it a great season 1. Thanks to my media manager, success marketing, Trio 100. Thanks to my makeup artist, King Candy. Thanks to Michael, who is an amazing technical engineer. Yeah, so we have some major things that we got some big things popping and little things stopping that's coming up for Real Talk Houston with Carlotta B. So you guys stay tuned and keep up with us, and we'll keep you posted on everything we're doing. Thank you so very much again, Boss Fam, and follow us. Tell everyone to follow us at Real Talk Houston on Instagram and Facebook.
I forgot to say that.
And what is your Instagram?
Yeah, I forgot.
What
See,
is
that's
your
what I'm saying.
Instagram
I'm bad
page?
at it. It's at I Love the Station. I saw how many followers you have. Like, dang. I've been doing this years.
Oh my God.
Can y'all follow me, please?
Oh my God. Y'all go follow I Love the Station.
Please, at I Love the Station.
At I Love the Station.
Just let me get 2,500 or something.
Okay.
Yeah, but I see you. That's not my thing.
And spread the word. At Real Talk Houston, at I Love the Station. All right? Thank you so much. Love you guys.